Hello, everyone. My name is Annalise Schobert, and my dad is running for House District 52. We're going to be talking about homeschooling and what it's like to homeschool. So here we have a couple of my brothers, and this is one of them. This is Jack. So, Jack, what is your favorite part about homeschooling and just everything that comes?
My parents at least will love me, and I know I can get a good education out of them.
The next brother is Joseph. Joseph is, again, one of my brothers, and he is also going to answer some questions about what's your favorite part about homeschooling and everything that comes with it.
Well, I'd have to say my favorite part about homeschooling is probably the fact that it's a very flexible education, so you're not confined to just staying at a public school all day, and you're actually able to do a lot of other activities as well as it. The fact that you can just kind of fill your day with whatever you feel like or your parents feel like would be good for you, so I can do all my other activities. I can be able to get the education that I'm supposed to be getting, and I feel like it's pretty good how you can pick and choose your education.
And I just want to say my favorite
What's
part
your favorite part?
about homeschooling is probably that, like, again, like Jack said, I'm like not trying to copy him, but I do like that my parents get to do their own sort of teaching, and it's like whatever they want to do. I think that's really good.
So I've been able to homeschool all 7 of our kids. In fact, I've got a video. This is homeschooling at its finest. I think that we will count this as fine arts. What do you think about that?
Yes.
Do y'all want to stay on camera, or do you want to walk away?
I need to get ready for
I'll
work.
walk
So you need to get ready for work. So
stay here.
we've been able to homeschool all 7 of our kids. We still have 4 that are in homeschooling, and 3 have graduated. And there's been 2 very important benefits about homeschooling. And by the way, I recognize that homeschooling is not for everyone. So I am not here to pressure or create anything that says everyone should homeschool, although in the last year or 2, everyone has been forced into homeschooling. But if you are concerned about what's going on in education, I will say that in the short term, one of the best things that you can do, or at least consider, is homeschooling. So there's been 2 kind of philosophical benefits that we've been able to enjoy through homeschooling. The first is we've been able to have those windows of opportunities to speak into our children, to speak about their identity. I can remember when one of my daughters was very sad because one of her friends had been teasing her and making fun of her and said that she was a scribble scrabbler because of the way that she drew. And my wife and I had those times, had those moments, had many, many opportunities to speak into her life and say, no, you're not a scribble scrabbler. You're creative. You're someone that does not think inside the box. You're someone that's willing to look outside of the way that everyone else is doing it. And that's followed her throughout her life. I can remember my son, we were able to see what he was predisposed to do. There's a verse that says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And I think that's what we were able to do with all of our kids, but in specific, my oldest son. At a very early age, he showed a desire and a propensity for computers and programming and development. And, I think when he was 6 or 7 years old, we purchased him Linux for Dummies. And we were able to add this to his education, to his homeschooling experience. When he graduated from high school, at the time I had an e-learning company that was a startup that I had formed. And he went to work for me. I later sold that. He stayed with that e-learning company. He began doing development and left that startup, went to a large publicly traded company as an engineer, and he now is a senior engineer with Apple. He did that all on his own. No formal education, no college, no degree, but we were able to see what he was predisposed to do, and he's been very successful with that. My oldest daughter, she enjoyed school. She enjoyed everything about the process. She is a very precise thinker, and she enjoys things that are organized and step by step. And so when she graduated from homeschooling, from high school, she went to Texas A&M. And she has recently graduated. She is an engineer. She graduated with her engineering degree from Texas A&M, and she now works with an engineering firm in College Station. Our third child, the last that has graduated, she was our free thinker. She was the one that colors outside the lines. She didn't like school. She didn't like the confines of a formal education. But she always had a desire to help people. She enjoyed fitness. And so, again, as part of her homeschooling experience, she was able to get her professional fitness license. She became the youngest franchise owner for Camp Gladiator. And for several years, she would train over 100 people each week in an outdoor boot camp style workout. Now, what I want to transition to is I want to talk a little bit about the politics of homeschooling. I am running for House District 52, and in large part is because of what I see in some of the needs for reform, significant changes to our education system. We currently have an education system that is centered on the bureaucracy, and I think it's failing everyone. As I go through the district, I don't meet anyone that is satisfied with our education system. I think that it needs significant reform. I think we need to move it from a bureaucracy-centered education to a parent-centered education. And I'm going to be talking about things that will allow the parents to have more control on the education choices of their children. One of those things will be controlling the finances, controlling how those educational dollars are spent. Now, there's a lot of things that are on the table. I'm very interested in vouchers. I'm very interested in educational saving accounts that can be used for K-12 education. I'm very much open to sort of an all-of-the-above approach, anything that allows us to bring the parents to the center of education. Now, as a homeschooling family, I want to make sure if there's any financial incentives, I want to make sure that those opportunities and those incentives are available to homeschooling parents. Now, I'm also a pragmatist, and I recognize that anytime that you're talking about taxpayer money, there will always be some strings attached to those dollars. I'm going to work to make sure that those mandates and those strings are as minimal as possible. I want to make sure that everyone can take advantage of the rights that they have in Texas to have their child educated, to be able to have that paid for. So I want to make sure that there are as few restrictions and requirements as possible. But recognizing that there will probably be some, I also want to make sure that as a homeschooling parent, you always retain the right to homeschool your child, no strings attached. I'm Jonathan Schober. I'm a homeschooling father. I'm running for House District 52. If you want to learn more, what's the website? Here, we'll go back to our fine arts class. Annalise, what's the website that they can go to learn more? You got to look at the camera.
Schober, Schober, for the number 4, Texas.com.
Schober4texas.com.
Homeschooling at its finest.
Homeschooling at its finest. Be blessed.